Giants fans, it's time to lock in. The 2025 Giants training camp is in full swing, and this year in particular is a huge year for Big Blue. After a brutal 3-14 season, this current regime has the pressure to turn things around this year. Today, I'm going to be breaking down all of the latest training camp news, spotlighting key veterans and rookies, and bringing up topics that give me reasons for optimism and also reasons for doubt going into this 2025 season. Let's get into it. To say that the New York Giants are walking a tightrope in 2025 would be an understatement. After a disastrous 3-14 record in 2024, Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are on the hot seat. Owner John Mara reportedly considered firing them both last offseason, and another losing season could spell the end of their tenure. The Giants face the NFL's toughest schedule this year, with brutal matchups against teams like the Chiefs, Eagles, and even the Lions. If they don't show progress, we could see a full rebuild in 2026. But there's hope. New faces, a revamped QB room, and a hungry rookie class could change the narrative. Let's break it down. Now let's start with our veterans, specifically our new quarterback one in Russell Wilson, stepping into a new Giants quarterback room that has been completely revamped from the mess it was last season. A quarterback room, mind you, that was sacked a total of 48 times, 32 of which were attributed to the offensive line. But here's the thing. Russell Wilson's clean pocket presence is elite. His stats are amazing. But at the age of 36, is he going to be able to hold up and stay healthy behind a Giants offensive line that is still kind of a huge question mark? So far, training camp reports say he's looking sharp, connecting with receivers like Malik Nabers, Wan'Dale Robinson, and even Darius Slayton. Compared to last year's Daniel Jones-led offense, which ranked 30th in red zone efficiency, Wilson's experience could be a game changer if he's protected. Defensively, Dexter Lawrence remains the cornerstone. He's arguably the NFL's best defensive tackle, but some rankings controversially placed him lower than expected, which has fans fired up. Lawrence's contract is a bargain at just under $22 million per year, but with 2 years left, he might even push for an extension soon. On the offensive line, Andrew Thomas is back from a season-ending injury in 2024. His return is huge, but the O-line still allowed 48 sacks last year, and that was down from 85 in 2023. Training camp reports praise Evan Neal's move from tackle to guard, but that just raises more questions about his future. Last year's O-line showed progress, but it's still the team's biggest weakness. Now let's talk about rookies, the spark that this team desperately needs. The first-round QB, Jackson Dart, is definitely the future of the Giants as a franchise. The Giants traded up to get him, and although he's expected to sit behind veterans like Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, training camp has already shown flashes of his potential. Now, it wasn't always great, and at the beginning of camp, he looked a little bit shaky and was known to hold onto the ball too long and maybe even stare down his first read as receiver. But come Sunday, Dart had his best practice yet, showing poise and arm strength and the ability to read defenses and throw his guys open. Now, compared to last year where we had guys like Malik Nabers and Tyrone Tracy Jr. in that rookie class, Dart's development is critical. And if he were to go out and have a show during a preseason game, we might even see him start sooner rather than later. Speaking of Nabers, the 2024 rookie star is already turning heads in year 2. He exited a recent practice with a shoulder injury, sparking concern, but he's expected to be fine. Nabers is hyped to explode this season, and his chemistry with Wilson is a bright spot. Then there's Abdul Carter, the number 3 overall pick and edge rusher with all-pro potential. He's already earning buzz for his disruptive play, with veterans like Tyrone Tracy Jr. praising his impact. Carter could transform a pass rush that was a strength in 2024, much like how Nabers elevated the offense last year. But injuries, like Bryce Ford Wheaton's torn Achilles, remind us how fragile this roster can be. So why should Giants fans even be optimistic about going into next season? Well, the answer is actually a little simple. We're a stronger team than we were in 2024. With additions like Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo, strengthening a secondary that was definitely the weakest point of this team from last year. Now, add Carter into the mix, it could make this defensive unit actually elite. On the offensive side of the ball, adding veteran leadership from the quarterback position in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, along with Brian Daboll's offensive scheme, we should be able to score more than 20 points a game this year, only something that we did 5 times in 2024. Now, analysts have us going, in best case scenario, having us going 7-10 this season, which would be a huge jump from the 3-14 season in 2024. There are reasons to be optimistic. Just watching training camp, the energy is electric, and you can't help but take notice. But here's why my doubt lingers. The offensive line. CBS Sports reported that the offensive line is the Giants' biggest weakness. And without constant protection, Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart could struggle early on. Aside from that, we have a brutal schedule, starting off the season against opponents like Washington, the Cowboys, and the Chiefs, and then also having a midseason gauntlet against Denver, Philly, San Francisco, and Detroit. Last year, the Giants were ranked 30th in red zone scoring offense and ranked dead last in first quarter scoring. So slow starts and not being able to capitalize when you actually get into the red zone going against teams of this caliber could be an issue. Now, I'm hoping that Brian Daboll will make adjustments to the game plan with these new pieces and these new weapons that we've added on to the both offensive and defensive side of the ball should help negate some of the issues that we might be having with scheme or even the opponents that we're going to be facing. But it's just the reality. Having players like Bryce Ford Wheaton go down with an Achilles injury just shows how fragile this roster can be at times. And depth, most definitely, is an issue. Now, Giants Nation, the 2025 season is a crossroads. Will Wilson lead a turnaround, or will injuries and a tough schedule sink Big Blue again? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Can the Giants hit 7 wins, or are we staring at another 5-12 season? Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us every week for the latest Giants news, and let's go Big Blue.